In the mid-15th century, a single invention sparked one of the greatest revolutions in human history, the printing press. When Johannes Gutenberg introduced movable type, he made it possible to share ideas faster, cheaper, and farther than ever before. Books that once took months to copy by hand could now be printed in days, spreading knowledge, science, and culture. Across continents, the printing press didn't just produce books, it produced a new world, fueling the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the rise of modern education. Today, we will talk about how the printing press changed the world. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The birth of a revolutionary invention. The invention of the printing press in the 15th century marked one of the greatest turning points in human history. Before its creation, books were copied by hand, an extremely slow and costly process limited to monasteries and scholars. Around 1440, a German goldsmith named Johannes Gutenberg developed the first movable type printing press in Mainz, Germany. This machine used metal type, ink, and a wooden press to reproduce pages quickly and accurately. Gutenberg's innovation combined several existing technologies, but in a way that made mass production of written material possible for the first time. His most famous work, the Gutenberg Bible, printed around 1455, became a symbol of cultural transformation. The printing press didn't just create books. It ignited a revolution in knowledge, literacy, and communication that changed the course of civilization forever. 2. The spread of knowledge and literacy. Before Gutenberg's invention, books were rare and expensive, accessible only to the wealthy and educated elite. The printing press completely changed that reality. Suddenly, books could be mass-produced, drastically reducing their cost and making them available to a much wider audience. This revolution led to a dramatic rise in literacy rates across Europe. Ordinary people gained access to knowledge that had previously been locked away in monasteries or royal libraries. The spread of printed materials also encouraged the translation of texts into local languages, helping people learn to read in their native tongues. Education expanded rapidly, universities grew in influence, and the hunger for learning spread like wildfire. For the first time, knowledge was no longer confined to a privileged few. It was becoming a right for everyone. 3. The role of the printing press in the Renaissance. The Renaissance, a cultural movement that began in Italy in the 14th century, was greatly fueled by the printing press. Scholars, artists, and thinkers were now able to share their ideas across borders quickly and efficiently. Classical works of Greek and Roman philosophy, rediscovered during the Renaissance, were printed and distributed throughout Europe. The ideas of Leonardo da Vinci, Erasmus, and Niccolò Machiavelli spread far beyond their hometowns, inspiring innovation in art, science, and politics. The printing press made the exchange of knowledge almost instantaneous compared to previous centuries. This mass distribution of ideas gave rise to critical thinking, creativity, and humanism, the very foundations of modern Western culture. Without the printing press, the Renaissance would not have achieved its global and enduring impact. 4. The printing press and the Reformation. Perhaps one of the most profound effects of the printing press was its role in the Protestant Reformation. In 1517, Martin Luther published his 95 Theses, criticizing the practices of the Catholic Church. Thanks to the printing press, his message spread throughout Europe within weeks. Thousands of pamphlets and translated Bibles circulated, challenging religious authority and empowering people to read Scripture for themselves. This was revolutionary. Ordinary citizens could now engage with religious texts without relying solely on priests. The Reformation not only reshaped Christianity, but also promoted the ideas of freedom, individual conscience, and education. The printing press gave a voice to reformers and helped spark one of the most significant social and religious transformations in world history. 5. The printing revolution and scientific progress. The printing press also became the foundation of the scientific revolution. Before printing, scientific discoveries spread slowly through handwritten manuscripts or word of mouth. After the press's invention, scientists could share findings widely and accurately. Books like Copernicus's On the Revolutions of the Heavenly Spheres, 1543, and Newton's Principia Mathematica, 1687, transformed how people understood the universe. Scholars could now build on one another's work instead of rediscovering old knowledge repeatedly. Printed diagrams, charts, and illustrations helped explain complex concepts to wider audiences. Scientific journals emerged, fostering collaboration and debate among thinkers across continents. The press made science a public enterprise and accelerated the advancement of human understanding in ways that were unimaginable before. 6. The printing press and the rise of education underwent a complete transformation due to the printing press. With the mass production of textbooks and learning materials, schools and universities expanded their reach. Students and teachers now had consistent access to the same texts, ensuring standardized learning. Libraries began to grow, and printed encyclopedias and dictionaries organized knowledge systematically for the first time. People who once relied solely on oral teaching could now study independently through books. This empowerment of individual learning contributed to the birth of a more educated middle class. Over time, literacy became essential for economic and social advancement. The printing press turned education from a privilege of the few into a cornerstone of modern civilization, laying the foundation for public education systems around the world. 7. The printing press and the growth of journalism. The printing press also gave birth to modern journalism. By the 17th century, printers were producing news pamphlets, gazettes, and later newspapers, allowing people to stay informed about events beyond their immediate surroundings. For the first time, information was not controlled solely by rulers or religious institutions. The press gave rise to a new form of power, the power of the printed word. This development fostered public debate, civic awareness, and political participation. Citizens could now hold leaders accountable by reading about political affairs and voicing opinions. The emergence of journalism laid the groundwork for freedom of speech and democracy. From the early European gazettes to today's digital media, all forms of journalism owe their origin to Gutenberg's press. 8. The printing press and cultural transformation. Beyond religion and science, the printing press transformed culture itself. Literature, art, and philosophy flourished as printing allowed stories and ideas to travel across nations. Writers like William Shakespeare, Miguel de Cervantes, and Dante Alighieri reached audiences they could never have imagined. Printed music sheets helped composers share their works, while maps and atlases expanded geographical knowledge, fueling exploration. The press helped create a shared cultural identity across regions, uniting people through common stories and beliefs. It also preserved languages by standardizing grammar and spelling. In many ways, the printing press didn't just spread culture, it helped define it. The written word became the bridge between generations, preserving human creativity for centuries to come. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.